Polar bears in flip flops. I'm your host Andrew Lewin, here coming through to you from the Speak Up for Blue TV channel on YouTube. I'm here with my co-host Angelo Villagomez. Angelo, how you doing, buddy? Happy New Year.
The other host, Angelo Villagomez, ready here for episode 2.
Yes,
It's a new year. It's our first episode of the year. That first episode we did, it was a practice run.
It was a practice run. We're gonna get better and better every time.
That's the goal. I mean, that's the goal of practicing. I'm gonna take my glasses off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, if people like the first episode, you like what you hear in the second episode, just subscribe so you can make sure you get any notification that we are going live on YouTube. And of course, don't forget to go to Angelo's YouTube video. You should be able to subscribe. We'll put that you're a collaborator on here, and people get to subscribe to yours as well. You want to just tell them your channel?
Yeah, gosh, I started that channel like 20 years ago. I think it's God. Let me just look and see what it is, because I actually don't remember. It's been quite a long time. But I will say, I was looking at your page, and of the live shows that you've done in the last 5 years, last week's show is the #1 show in 5 years. Like, I mean, we should get a trophy or something.
I think YouTube should send us something.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to doing more. I've always wanted to do live shows. I've always wanted to have a live show, and this is like the worst it's going to be. It's just going to get better and better and better. We're going to try and provide you with the best kind of content and the most fun. We're just here, like Angelo and I are like two buddies in the same kind of industry and field. We both love the ocean. We're a month apart from our birthdays in the same year, so we got a lot of stuff in common, but we're also very different and very good.
47 years old. We were born in the 1970s, which means we were alive in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. You've been alive during 6 American decades. I don't know if you know this. It's this year is the 250th anniversary of America. And
really?
250 years, and I live in Washington, D.C., and for the first 5 days of the year, America was, the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Well, I can see that from my bedroom. And for the first 5 days of the year, our government was shining a light show onto the Washington Monument. And
really?
It looked, oh my God, it was so cheesy and so tacky. I was calling it the Washington Monument and Casino. We have a very tacky leader in our country right now.
What?
Yeah,
no,
we do. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new year. Have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Okay. And I followed none of them so far.
8 days in. So
8 days in.
You got time to get it straight.
Yeah. My New Year's I want to get healthier. I'm a little overweight. Yeah, fitness has been a big thing for me. Getting back into the gym, I kind of lost it over the last couple of years. Like getting it into regular shape. And so now I am a shape. I'm a shape, but not the shape I want to be. Just getting back into it.
And you and I, again, parallel lives. Like we've had some very, very fit years. Like I've seen pictures of you and you were doing CrossFit. And I was like, that guy's kind of hot. That guy's pretty buff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So last week when you said that, you told me before we got on the show, you said that one of your New Year resolutions was going to be fitness. So my New Year's resolution, one of them is also going to be fitness.
Nice. And together.
My thing is cardio. Like I don't
really
lift weights. I ran in high school and ran in college. So I like just going out for a run. Thing is, I'm from a Pacific island, right? So I like warm weather, and I live in Washington D.C. where it's been 30, 40 degrees. It's warm today.
Yeah, same with us.
Do you think in Celsius or Fahrenheit?
I do in Celsius.
So it's
5 degrees here, Celsius, which
10 degrees or something here.
Yeah. So you guys are usually a little bit warmer than we are.
So I've been doing the elliptical, and it's like,
oh, nice. Like just in the home, like in your house?
I've got it. I live in an apartment building, and we have a gym.
Nice.
I'm 8 days in, and I've been on the elliptical. I went running the first day because it wasn't so cold. And then, but it was cold enough for me to say, you know what, I'm going to do the elliptical for the rest of the week.
Gotcha. Well, what about today? Would you go out?
I did this morning. I got up at 6 a.m. and did 45 minutes.
In the elliptical, or did you go outside?
On the elliptical.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
I think I'll start running outside in like March. That's when.
Yeah, that's probably decent.
Unless there's like a kind of a warm streak. You
Yeah.
got any other New Year's resolutions?
I
Just
think
fitness.
well, I mean, fitness is a big one. I think it's also like, it's not just like, I guess fitness comes with a lot of things, right? So it's really just changing certain habits, and I think that'll help my fitness. I read I listened to a book called Atomic Habits back in September of 2025, and that really changed the way I thought about looking at goals and setting goals. So the idea is to help my fitness, get proper sleep, 7.5 to 8 hours a night, stay away from snacks at work, buy less of stuff at work, like food at work, from like fast food places and stuff like that. Just so overall, just kind of eat healthier.
Yeah.
I have some business goals I want to do. I'd like to start a couple. Well, I mean, this is one of them, starting a podcast, a new podcast, part of the network, the Speak Up for Blue network with you. And so that's a lot of fun. I'm crowdfunding for a seagrass podcast right now. So
cool.
If people go to speakupforblue.com/seagrass, you can get access to, you can help crowdfund that. But the idea around that is not just talk about seagrasses and not just share, the science and the conservation that's going around with people all over the world, but also the people who are going to contribute to the crowdfunding. We're going to be taking a portion of that to restore, to support a restoration of a seagrass, and we're going to track it all the way through. So
yeah, I think seagrass conservation is one of those those fields. There's a little bit of a pun there. Is underappreciated, man. It's some of these habitats that are near shore punch above their weight. Just like the biodiversity that lives there and the nursery grounds,
the water quality, cleaning
water
up,
quality
cleaning
issues,
up the water quality. Yeah.
The carbon sequestration, and I think conservation has always evolved. When we were kids, we were hearing about save the whales and save the rainforest.
Yeah.
And like I just haven't seen those bumper stickers on cars in years, and it's just the natural change of conservation. It was very much climate change for a while. In the early 2020s, it was like indigenous people and justice. Very much 30 by 30 for a couple of years now.
For sure.
But I really think some of these nearshore habitats, things like seagrass and mangroves, and especially kelp conservation, is like I think those are going to be the hot things in the 2030s. It's really exciting that you've got this podcast going.
Well, it hasn't started yet because I want it to be funded.
You need the money. Yeah.
I need the money to do it and the time to do it. And I did think about combining not just having it on seagrass, but a lot of the sort of green habitats, salt marshes, seaweeds. I've got some feedback from some scientists who are like, if you combine those, maybe there's a lot more information that can go into that. A lot of science, a lot of conservation, but really kind of grouping it all together because they all need that type of attention, right? Yeah. And so I think, I'm considering it and seeing if that one will help the crowdfunding. Also if there's organizations who are listening to this that are part of like seagrass conservation or, whether it be seaweed, and you want to contribute to this is not just an individual crowdfunding campaign. If people want to do that, I'm more than welcome to listen to, what you'd like to contribute or how much you'd like to contribute. Always looking for that type of partnership. So, so we'll see what happens. How about yourself? Like obviously fitness is one you mentioned. What else?
I've got a couple carryovers that I've done. Like this is the same 3 for the last 2 years. And it's going to be no drinking, no gambling, no sports memorabilia. And those are things that cost me money that just do not contribute to my life whatsoever.
True.
I've for the most part failed at all of them for the last 2 years.
Let's hold on a second. With the drinking.
The one I've done the best on is the drinking. Yeah.
Because we've been out together and you're like not drinking. And you're like, hey, by the way, I'm not drinking. I'm like,
I drank that's pretty good. In 2025, I drank 1 beer on July 4th.
Okay.
The entire year. So it wasn't zero. I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I did pretty good. Did pretty well in the gambling too. I love playing blackjack at the casino. I was actually in 2024. I was banned from a certain casino for playing blackjack, which is
You're winning too much.
I was winning too much, yeah. 'Cause- and that like it was in the movie. It was like in the movies. They like pulled me aside and like, you come with me? I was
Oh
like,
no.
okay. It was actually really polite. He was like, hey, so you're a pretty good player. We no longer want your business. Um, cash out.
Wow.
We'll see you later. I was like, all right.
So they never accused you of doing anything nefarious.
Oh
They're
no,
just
nothing
like, you're a
nefarious.
pretty
Just
good
like,
player.
yeah.
Wow.
And then
Good for
the
you. Like that means that you're good. If a casino decides to kick you out.
I do okay. And then the baseball card stuff. Like it's mostly baseball cards, and
Yeah.
baseball cards are the most unfulfilling hobby you can have because you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna pull. Right now it's like Shohei Ohtani, right? It was like
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna get this. I want Shohei Ohtani cards, and you always get like some donkey player from I'm just the Baltimore Orioles. We'll go there.
Mhm.
And you spend money and it's just you're not happy with it, and I have like boxes and boxes of these stupid baseball cards, and
Right.
I need to get rid of them, or I need to find like a young person who loves baseball and just pass them over and just be done with it. But it's fun, like you buy the packs and you open it. Yes, I realize most people who do this are 12 years old, but
Amen.
it's fun.
We did it when we were kids. It's nostalgic. I get it. No, so you're not in. You're just into the collection. You're not into this collecting and selling.
No,
and
no,
that
no.
kind of
Just
stuff.
like I buy them, and
So it's not a business for you.
no,
You're just
no,
in
no.
for like
It's like
collecting.
for fun. I like
Yeah.
the players that I like, and
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get that. Like, not a lot of people are in. Like, people want to make a business out of everything.
No, you're
including
not.
myself.
There's no way to win.
No, there's no way to win, and I think it's interesting. But I'll tell you something. A friend of mine sent me. So obviously it's football season, and I go over to a buddy's place all the time. We watch football, and we'll talk about like our predictions for this weekend. And it was interesting is he sent me a picture. So he's a big LA Charger fan, and so Herbert, who's the quarterback for there was a jersey that a jersey that he played in and signed.
Oh.
Guess how much it went for?
Oh, I mean those things have got like a shitty player. It will go for $700, right? And so like these, I'm gonna guess $12,000.
$41,000.
So well, they only play like 20 games a year, right? I mean, with the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
who has this money? Like, who has this money to spend on this that will spend
t-shirt,
that much money
on a shirt? Yeah.
Yeah, like unreal, like a marker, a scribble on a shirt. Like
my most expensive jersey is I was at a fundraiser, and Max Scherzer, the pitcher for the Nationals.
Yes.
You could buy 2 tickets to any game that you wanted in the like VIP section where it's all you can eat and drink, and a signed shirt for Max Scherzer, and I think it was like $600, which is like not a steal, right?
Unbelievable.
Because I think I drank $600 worth of beer and ate $600 worth of sausage. In
that works.
Clubhouse. Yeah. But it says I've got a Max Scherzer jersey, and it says to Angelo Max. And
so he was there and he signed it. It wasn't just random signed jersey.
I didn't see him sign it, but it was through a foundation, and they had a connection, and they're like,
gotcha.
And they were going to give the T-shirt. It was to raise money. And it should have gone for a lot more money because it was also came with the game tickets.
Right.
But yeah, you had a good time.
That's pretty cool, man. That's so this year though, no memorabilia.
Yeah, I got
no cards.
No,
that's it.
Don't. It's just a waste of money.
All right. Well, we'll track both of us as we go.
We'll see how they go. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. And for me, for fitness, it's not like I have a certain number that I want to get to, but it's more of just like building the habits that'll help me get there. That's the big thing.
Do you have a set of clothing for when you're skinny?
Well, my old clothing.
Yeah.
That will like fit if I do. I keep it like as a way. I don't know if it's more torture or more of like a goal setting. I don't know.
I have a skinny drawer.
Do you?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I haven't used them in about 3 or 4 years. They fit like in 2020.
Right. Yeah. Like I think when I was 40, I was probably at my fittest.
Yeah.
And now I'm 47, obviously, as we mentioned. And so, COVID took a run at me and won. In terms of not doing much. And so that was that I haven't recovered from that, let's just say. And so hopefully this year we'll be getting back into it and just getting to the gym a little bit more. So
Yeah, and
we'll
it's
see how
separate
we'll
for
see
you.
how that goes.
You've got
What's that?
kids. You've got kids.
I got kids, but now they're older. So I got one kid in university. I got one
okay.
kid, you know, she's 16. I got the other one is 18. And so they look, playing
No
with me and
excuses.
being around me is not their priority right now.
Yeah. No excuses.
No excuse. No excuses anymore. I've even got a treadmill downstairs and two dogs
Okay.
that want to be walking. So
Love
that's
it.
my big thing. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's trying to get back into it. All right, let's move on. You know, speaking of memorabilia, it is wild card weekend in the NFL.
Excellent. I know 6 games this weekend.
6 games. Plus, don't forget there's the college bowl game tonight.
I'm not going to watch college.
Bowl. Always
Yeah,
exciting. Always exciting.
Did I miss the Pop-Tart Bowl?
The Pop-Tart Bowl? No, I don't think you did. I don't think there is one, is there?
There was before. I've definitely
Like
seen
Kellogg's Pop-Tarts?
Yeah.
There was the Snoop Bowl, the Snoop Dogg Bowl.
Oh, that was
this year.
great. That
Yeah.
K-pop Demon Hunters were in it.
Yeah.
That was
yeah, it was a great halftime show.
I actually felt like that was the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
It was
doing
like
it this year again? It's
Bad Bunny. You have
Bad Bunny. That's right. That's
you have a month to learn Spanish. No, there was like one moment where like Snoop was on stage with you know, the Italian singer who's blind, and Bocelli or Anthony, what's this guy's name?
Yeah.
Like the guy, and then like the famous country singer, and I don't know her name. She dressed like Beyonce did when she did her halftime show. And then the K-pop Demon Hunters, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like,
came out of nowhere.
What is this collection
is Snoop
of people
these days?
Yeah,
this is Snoop. You know, gangster to like entertainer.
So, you know, this is an aside, but did you see the P Diddy documentary on Netflix?
I did.
Yeah, I watched it too. But like, you know,
yeah, very scary, very
Snoop,
disturbing.
Like rappers, and then like Snoop had a very different reputation in the 90s.
Yes.
Than he does. He's very family. He was not family friendly in 1993 when he first came out.
I mean, presidents used to say how he was like a detriment to society.
Yeah.
You know, well, presidents, I say presidential electorate. Like, I think it was Bob Dole who said he was bad, which tells you about the times. But yeah. No, it's now he's like America's sweetheart.
Yeah. So football though, your team is the 49ers.
My team is the 49ers.
They are playing on Sunday against the Eagles.
They're playing against the Eagles at 4:30. It is going to be interesting because the Niners they've had a great season, 12-5, but they've had an easy schedule. And they've had a lot of injuries. Yeah. And so our defense, 2 of our major like elite players are out for the season. Although one might be back for next week's game. He had think about this, like 8 weeks ago, he dislocated and broke his ankle, and he might be back for next game if we make it through. We're going into Philadelphia. If anybody knows anything about football, going into Philadelphia and playing in that stadium is really difficult.
The fans they're the reigning champs.
They are the reigning champs. The fans are crazy. They're like very passionate about their team. But the Niners and Eagles have a bit of a rivalry going on over the last few years. You know, Brock Purdy, when he first started with the Niners, he was in the NFC Championship against the Eagles. Did something to like tore a tendon in his elbow, couldn't throw in the beginning of the game. Another quarterback came through like for Niners and broke his or got a concussion, so he was out. They didn't have a quarterback. They were using like their running backs, and they were using all these people to try and work. And of course, we got destroyed. The next year, we came back into Philadelphia and destroyed them like 41-13 or something like that. So now it's you know, the Eagles won last year the Super Bowl. The 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time, about 30 years. And so, do they have a Super Bowl team? Not on paper at this point, but they have a great offense, a little bit of a weaker defense, a young defense. And the Eagles have Saquon Barkley. They got A.J. Brown and a very talented offense that haven't been playing very well, but they got a phenomenal defense. So it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. I don't know. Everybody's favoring the Eagles, but some people are like, this is not an easy game for the Eagles. So we'll see if the 49ers can pull it off.
If you ask me what my favorite football team is, I'm probably going to tell you the Boston Red Sox. So I'm not. I am a much bigger baseball fan than a football fan.
You know a lot more about baseball than I do. That's for sure.
But I will be watching the Patriots game, and you know the Patriots. They're playing the Chargers also on
Chargers
Sunday.
in New England.
And like the football the Patriots team this year reminds me of like the early '90s Pistons, where it was just like a bunch of nobodies. Yeah,
like, they're a very young team. Like
no all-stars.
Drake May is the quarterback who's
Yeah,
like very young. Yeah.
might be the MVP.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that'll just be maybe this is a year where they go deep, or maybe this is a year they go all the way. But
You
I will
never
be
know.
I'll be putting on my Patriots jersey and sitting on the couch and watching the game.
Good for you. It's kind of interesting too, because like, the Patriots are, in terms of like they're the number, or not the number one seed, they're the 2 seed, but they have a record of 14-3, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Some people say they had an easy schedule, just like the Niners had an easy schedule. So they're wondering if they just benefited from that. New coach Vrabel, who used to be a Patriot, so that there's a little bit of history around there. But they're definitely good, and the Chargers are injured quite badly on the offensive line. So we'll see what happens.
Let's go.
Yeah, you'll see what happens there. My buddy's a Chargers fan, so I'm going to go to the Chargers on that one. We're not going to bet on it though, Angelo. We're just going to keep it clean.
No gambling.
No gambling. You got the Bills Jaguars that are earlier that day. That's going to be an interesting one too. It's in Jacksonville, so not in Buffalo. First time I think Buffalo's played outside of Buffalo in a long time for the playoffs.
You get a feel for Buffalo though, right? I mean, like they've suffered for so long. I mean,
they're like the Leafs of the NFL.
But even like for the fans, I mean, like they also have to live
especially
in Buffalo.
For the fans. I'm not saying anything because I go to Buffalo to watch a game, so I
you're not that far away. You're basically North Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like, that's like an hour and a half away from me. So we go there every year. Saturday, Rams, Panthers. I'm going to say the Rams are pretty much in there. They got the 6th or the 5th seed. Panthers barely won their division. You never know what happens, but the Rams are too strong. They were almost the 1 seed. And then the Bears, Packers, that's obviously a rivalry game. Bears won last time.
Awesome.
Packers screwed up. They don't really have a lot of injuries. Micah Parsons out. Their quarterback might be injured. I don't know if he's back now. I'm going to say Bears on that one. What else we have? And we got the Texans and Steelers.
The Monday game.
The Monday night game. I think the Texans are the most dangerous team in the AFC because of their defense. They're 12-5. I think they're on a very big winning streak. And then you got, of course, the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks that are the 1 seeds in their conferences. So it's going to be a fun weekend. So
if you look at the prediction markets, that's not technically gambling. Because but it looks like people are thinking the Seahawks are going to go all the way this year.
Could be. Both of those teams that have clinched the number 1 seed have a really good offense or defense and a decent offense. And so, defense wins championships, but also the Texans have a really good defense. The Eagles have a really good defense. So just like the one thing I like about the NFL and the way they've structured the NFL, every year the parity gets better. Other than like a couple of teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and Patriots, who've kind of taken off with a lot of Super Bowls recently. You just never know who's going to make it. And this year is one of those years where you just never know. Like it's very hard to predict who's going to make it to the finals. So as a Niner fan, I'm hoping that the Niners get there because it is the Super Bowl is in San Francisco. It's in Santa Cruz at their home. So it'd be really great home field advantage if they got it. But I can't afford to go to a Super Bowl ever. So I don't know who can. But if the Niners are there, I'm going to try and go. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've never been to an NFL game, believe it or not.
What?
But I've never been. I've been to a World.
Washington.
I live in Washington, but I've been to a World Series game.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It's but yeah, those tickets aren't cheap for playoff games.
No.
But like Super Bowl's next level. I mean, thousands of dollars.
I looked one year when the Niners made it a couple years ago, and it was to get bottom seats, like front, like in the 50-yard line, which are top seats on the first level.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like $50,000 a ticket. Like what? Like why? Why even bother post a ticket? Just say you can't afford this. Like you can't afford this. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be it's kickoff weekend for the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some great games, some great matchups. You never know who's going to win. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. So cool. All right, let's get into some science, right?
Yeah,
let's get into some conservation. This is a science conservation.
Is this
podcast,
the first time you've talked about football on your podcast?
You know what? Beyond Jaws, we usually do it after the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right.
Especially like Dave likes to do it because we talk a lot of football. He lives in the Monterey area, and so he's a big San Francisco fan, or mostly San Francisco fan. But he we kind of talked about it one time when the Niners lost, and so I was like, that's not as much fun to talk about after they lost the Super Bowl. But yeah, no, I like talking about football, obviously, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it next week too after we see the winners. Okay, so science. Let's get into science. So the story we got today, we're talking about great whites in the Mediterranean Sea. There's a serious risk of extinction. Over the last couple of years, there have been 40 deaths of great whites in the Mediterranean. I don't like, what's funny is I didn't think there was a huge population of great whites in the Mediterranean.
I didn't think there were any, to believe
right.
Because I think there was a Discovery Channel Shark Week show where they were looking for a great white somewhere near Italy. And I remember the Discovery show was exactly like the BBC story that reported on this, and that they didn't find any white sharks. And it's just, they talked to a couple of people and there was anecdotes. But, the scientists who did the study, they went to some fish markets on the African side of the Mediterranean, and they found great white sharks in the market.
Great white sharks. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Wild.
It's so cool to see them there.
Well, I mean, it'd be nicer if they were in the water.
Sorry.
In the story, it ends with, it's actually the fact that they're showing up in the markets shows that there's a population and that they are there. And I have fisheries colleagues who have, if you're coming from the fisheries perspective, the sign of a healthy fishery is fish on your plate, not fish in the ocean. Right, because it's like that's the use for fisheries. And I've never been to North Africa, but I've been across the Caribbean, I've been across the Pacific, and I've been to Southeast Asia. And if you're in like a city in Canada or a city in the United States, and you go to like one of your local fish markets, like I live in DC, there's a fish market right down the street from my house. The fish markets in developing countries are not like the fish market.
No, very different.
It's they're pulling in protein, and they're the pictures that I saw in the story, it looked it's small boat fishermen. It wasn't obvious what kind of gear they were using to catch the sharks. I don't know if it was nets or hooks or whatnot.
Well, a lot of the thing is there's a lot of tuna fishing that's around in that area, so it's going to be a lot of long lining, right? And so I assume many of them are being caught through long lining, even though they're protected, they're internationally protected, and so they shouldn't be caught. But of course, with long lining, you can't control who's going to bite the bait.
Yeah,
right.
And if you put, when your average Joe goes swimming, they've been convinced that a shark can smell a drop of blood from a mile away. So you throw a chunk of bait in the water, especially if it's fish bait, sharks are going to go for it. So
for sure,
it's not a surprise. Or the shark is going for the fish that's on the hook.
Yep.
And depredating the fish that's on the hook. And it doesn't sound like they know. Like it sounds like it's data poor. They don't necessarily know how the sharks were caught. They don't know where they were caught. They just saw pictures of them in the markets.
Yeah, and I mean that's where it's kind of funny because I do. We talked a little bit about before, but the Beyond Jaws podcast when I do it with David Ebert, his career has basically been going to fish markets and discovering lost sharks, sharks that people haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of times you'll see it there because these fishers are catching them all over the place, and they know where they've seen them in the past. They know where they see them in the future, and so you see them a lot come up there, and that's kind of like a bit of an indicator of how many there are and where they're finding it. Maybe they found like a specific spot where they're finding them more. They are critically endangered by the IUCN, that's something that is a little concerning. Especially if they're being caught. I think I said 40 in the last couple of years. It was 40 in 2025 alone that they found.
Oh wow,
on the North African coast.
That's shocking. Like who knew there were that many?
I know, right? I know. So you wonder how many more are there out there, and I think that's the problem. Is one thing that I realized doing the Beyond Jaws podcast is that people just don't know a lot about sharks. There's still so much information that we don't know, even with the species like great whites. I think I don't think there's a lot of information on there. But the fact like they talk a lot about trying to tag sharks and locate sharks and in the Strait of Sicily, It's known as their last refuge that they've been in, but unfortunately they haven't seen them in a long time. They've put in baiting, they put in cameras, and they said described I think that the researcher Dr. Francesco Ferretti described this lack of encounters as a sign of how degraded the ecosystem has become, and warned that it is plausible that they will go extinct in the near future. So obviously that's scary that they're in that particular danger of going extinct. However, I think it's also, a starting point, in this situation where there's more funds available to start looking at these sharks and researching where they are, how many there are, and what shape they're in, to help sort of categorize this population of great whites, as we've categorized populations on the West Coast, on the East Coast of North America, and in South Africa and New Zealand and Australia. There just needs to be an interest. And of course, it's also difficult because the Mediterranean is what, 28, 23 different nations?
It's tiny too. They also have. I always thought that a country controlled from 0 to 200 miles, and then everything beyond that is the high seas.
Right.
But the Mediterranean is weird. So I assumed there were no international waters in the Mediterranean.
Right, because the 200 nautical miles would have probably crossed borders.
It's not 400 miles. So they've got.
Right.
I don't really fully understand it. We should talk to somebody who's from Europe. But there are high seas in the Mediterranean. So
interesting.
So a lot of those boats are going to what is the high seas, where different rules apply than what's within the EEZs, or they're not EEZs. I think they're just coastal waters.
Right.
But that's something I should look up so that when this topic comes up, I know more about it. Because right now I'm just pretending like I know something. But no, the reason I even looked this up is because I forget what it was, but I was reading a paper about the international waters in the Mediterranean, and I was like, what? There can't be international waters in the Mediterranean. It's too small. But there are.
How much of it is?
And start typing, because you could probably figure that out like really, really quickly, because you have the whole sum
I'm doing it right there
of human knowledge right there at your fingertips. I was thinking the same thing, with the United States invaded Venezuela this week. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that.
But it started. The way it started a couple months ago is there were these stories of boats being bombed by the U.S. military, and the U.S. government was saying that they were in international waters. And I was like, "There's no way they were in international waters, right? Because it's the EEZs extend from 0 to 200. They have to be like out by Bermuda before they get to 200 miles away from shore."
Yeah.
It turns out that those boats were in the waters of Venezuela or Trinidad, and it was just my government was lying to me.
Does it do that?
Yeah, it does. But it's fascinating, because the question of who owns what parts of the ocean is, man, I'm segueing into our next topic without even trying to. But the topic of who owns the ocean is a really complicated one. And next week begins I'm not going to say the right word, but the implementation of the High Seas Agreement, where we may get protected areas on the high seas for the first time.
Gotcha. That's insane.
Did I say that right? I don't know if I said
you said it right. Yeah. It was
okay.
ratified by 60 nations, and then that put it into place. And next week, what date is it specifically?
I think it's the 17th.
Yeah.
And people seem really excited about it. I think, didn't they win the High Seas Alliance? Won the Earthshot Prize. They got $1 million.
It's a huge thing. If you think about the high seas, it's a bit of like the wild, wild west right now. Anybody can do whatever they want in there. The High Seas Treaty will hopefully bring in a little bit more structure in terms of what's protected, marine protected areas, zones of where you can fish, where you can't fish, like a bit of a spatial plan that happens there. And I think that's really important. Just before, as we do that, talk about the High Seas Treaty. Apparently more than 80% of the Mediterranean Sea currently falls under the high seas regime, because most of the states haven't declared an extensive exclusive economic zone that would cover the basin. So from a spatial perspective, it probably would cover everything. But because most of the states haven't declared it, then it's pretty much 80% of it is international. So that'll be interesting how that works.
So this being our second podcast ever, and not
Yeah.
knowing, or at least for me, not knowing what I'm doing, whatever, at all. I just noticed that we have a comment. Did you see that? We have a
What?
comment.
No.
Somebody's
That's
actually
awesome.
somebody's actually watching this shit show. But A Bagel 20 asks, "What are your thoughts on orcas from different ecotypes, possibly being different species, like the Biggs transients and the northern southern residents?" Now, first of all, I just want to point out, at no point were we talking about species or orcas or ecotypes.
That's
And
okay, though.
it's perfectly fine. We really appreciate your question. But I just want to, it's pretty exciting. We just got our first comment.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and it's a great question too.
And what are your thoughts?
Are orcobiologists, but we're finding all these different ecotypes more and more as we discover more about orcas, and we still just don't know worldwide. We don't know a lot about orcas. We're still, I'm gonna show this on stream for a little bit to the question so people can see it. Yeah, isn't that cool? So I think when we look at these different ecotypes, they might be genetically different, and that really will come in when we start to see the results of a lot of these DNA tests and looking at the different genetic types of these ecotypes. At some point, if they are geographically separated, you would think that they would be potentially different species.
Yeah.
That kind of brings up a whole can of worms when we look at taxonomy and looking at naming of species and what these different ecotypes could be. Same thing with great whites as well. I think there's great white sharks, and then there's all these populations around the world because they're so worldwide that they're all over the world. We know now that like South African sharks and will go to New Zealand sometimes, or we'll go to Indonesia. And we see that we got that evidence this year from a tag, or from a shark that was caught with with a tag in that area. So it's kind of interesting in terms of what we're seeing develop. They could be different species at some point. We might be able to discover that, but there's so much we need to know about orcas in terms, like, a lot of them have their own individual languages, like their dialects. They have
Some
their
speak
own
Korean.
Some speak Korean. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at some point, man. I wouldn't be surprised. But
the K-pop orca demon hunters.
They're outside the Strait of Gibraltar lately. They're hunting sailboats. That's what they're doing. Those demon hunters. Yeah, no, it's an interesting question that I to be honest, I don't have the answer to. As far as I know, they are just different ecotypes. They're not different species. But at some point,
please don't be me. Please don't be me. Please don't be me. Please don't be me. Well, Andrew's gone. Or am I gone? I actually don't know. Let me see if we can figure this out. Well, it looks like he's the one who's gone, which is kind of weird because this is his podcast, and I'm here all alone. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming to our second. I'm not going to stay on here by myself without Andrew. So, hey, we'll see you in a week. We're going to do the show once a week, Thursdays at 5 o'clock. We're kind of just playing around with it right for now, but we're pretty sure that eventually we'll get into a rhythm, and we'll have some kind of a theme. I appreciate you tuning in. Catch you later.
okay, it looks like I'm live, but we're We lost Angelo. I thought I lost. I got lost as well. We're gonna say goodbye here today. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Thanks for the question. We really appreciate it. At a bagel _20. Really appreciate it. And thanks to Angelo. We'll talk to you next time. This has been a wonderful episode of Polar Bears in Flip Flops. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. See you later. Oh, wait. Angelo's coming back on. We'll do a proper goodbye. We'll see if he can come back on. But, going back to that question from a bagel _20. Oh, Angelo.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, you froze, and
I
then
froze, and then you froze for me. And
okay,
I
but I checked the live stream. It was you. It was your fault.
Oh, my fault. My bad.
It was all you. And
Yeah.
it took me about 60 seconds to be like, well, is it him or is it me?
I kept hearing you say that.
Okay, then I realized it was him.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm not doing this by myself. I'm out.
Well, we're still recording, so it's okay.
We're still recording, yeah. Hey, we're
still
back.
recording, but
Little bit
why
of
don't
hiccup.
why don't we just like pick up again and just kind of say goodbye?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
top of the hour, but interesting results out of the Mediterranean. Cool question by a bagel _20. We appreciate it. Yes, they're ecotypes. We don't know if they're different species at this point. Maybe one day we'll figure it out. But at this point, they're just different ecotypes. But it would be really cool if they're different species, different dialects, different ways of living. It's pretty cool the way they think, and we're just starting to scratch the surface and understanding them.
Yeah, and we're gonna see more of that.
Yeah.
I was talking to, because we're dealing with this deep sea mining in the Marianas. There's a manta scientist, Julie Hardup, on Guam, and she's been studying Guam's mantas for like the last 15 years.
Sweet.
And they think that there's like 65 mantas that live just in the Mariana Islands, and they're running DNA analysis to see if it's a unique species. And they think that it may actually be a hybrid between the oceanic and the reef mantas, or a relative that's kind of like somewhere between them on the branches. There was also a monitor lizard. So I grew up we used to call it the Philippine monitor lizard. And in the last couple of years, like last 5 years, some scientists did DNA analysis, and they're like, oh no, we assumed that this lizard had been brought to the islands in like the last 1,000 years, or so by somebody, but it actually turns out it's been here a lot longer, and that this lizard is actually its own species. So as the scientific techniques to understand what a species is, we're gonna there will be more and more species, which is cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, when you look at that and you look at genetics and you look at whole makeup and what we're discovering, it's phenomenal. Even to the point where we have genetic banks of animals, like the DNA of animal, to make sure that if we have to ever repopulate certain animals, we can do so because we have their genetic makeup, and we can we have their eggs and sperm, and we can actually use it through in vitro fertilization. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. And it's something that we continue to discover and rediscover, because people pay us to go into the ocean and figure this stuff out. So if you are looking to fund somebody, or you want people to know more about it, consider donating to research groups that do that kind of stuff, like the Manta Trust, or like Angelo's friend. Sorry, what was the person's name?
Julie Hardup. She's got her organization is called the Micronesia Conservation Coalition.
Perfect. So go to that website. Let's see if we can work it.
And I think she's on the I think she's on the Manta Trust website too.
Okay. So they're like
like Manta. There aren't that many Manta aggregations around the world.
No.
And one of them is in Guam. And it's incredible. It's I won't say exactly where it is, but it's in a tourist area, and there'll be like thousands of tourists on the beach, and then mantas just off in the water. And people have known about it for years. It's been kind of like anecdotal. They're like, oh, I was on a paddle boat, or a paddleboard, and we saw some mantas. And so Julie is the one who did the science, and she confirmed that they come there once a month, and they feed. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I love that. Let me just see if I can get that.
Oh, there you go.
There's the website. We'll get it up there. And so people can take a look, and if they want to donate, you can donate to support if you want more stuff on mantas. So I think it's really important. So anything else, Angelo, before we go?
That's it, man. I think we maybe talk a little bit more about the high seas next week, and
absolutely,
we'll see what happens between now and then.
The
last week was pretty exciting, but the the first 2 days of the year, all anybody was talking about was Stranger Things.
Yes.
I logged on. It was like, is 11 alive? Is she dead? I don't know.
Yes.
And then we invaded Venezuela.
And that's all it's been.
And then, today Trump left. It's like we left 66 international organizations today, including like a bunch of the things that you listed off during this podcast. Really exciting time to be alive and working conservation. Leaving on a happy note.
Yeah, he'll leave it. It's a stressful time, but it also goes to show that we need more podcasts like this. There's a lot of ocean conservation podcasts that are out there, whether they're educational, whether they're talking about conservation, whether about advocacy. I highly recommend that you listen to those and get to know your friendly neighborhood marine biologist and conservationist, because they're the ones who are telling you what's happening. And then when you don't like what you hear, you go to your government representative and you tell them that you don't like what you hear. As we talked about last time, Canada has changed its policies in terms of, pipelines and stuff for oil and gas. And, we need to change that. So we need to talk to our members of parliament to make sure that they know that we don't like what's going on. So even though we don't really have a choice in the matter at this point, but, we'll see what happens in the next few years. But hopefully the rest of your 2026 is going to be great. Angelo, we're going to see you next week, 5:00 p.m. Eastern, on this channel. And if people want to get more, please subscribe, comment. Love to hear your questions. If you want us to cover something specific, you can. Angela, if someone wants to get a hold of you through social media, how would they do so?
All of my accounts are Taotasi, TAOTAOTASI. It's Chamorro language for people of the ocean, except on TikTok. I'm Chamorro Dude in DC.
Okay.
I just joined TikTok like a month ago.
You're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's annoying. It's a lot of like AI schlop. So when I first got on, it was all AI. Now I've my
your FYP page changes after.
It's a lot of cat videos and a lot of cooking videos and stand-up comedy and people playing ukulele. Like those are
nice.
Those are my interests.
You are the only person on my feed that plays the ukulele.
You should add more. It makes you happy.
It makes me happy every time. Every time. Yeah, it reminds me of us hanging out and like at the science conferences, and you just kind of sitting there and strumming and playing. So by the way, I love how Jason Momoa is just on your back.
Yeah, he's
right shoulder, left shoulder.
Maui.
That's fantastic. Yeah, love it. All right, so this has been great. We will talk to you guys next week, 5 p.m. on Thursday Eastern time. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of Angelo. You heard all his handles, and of course, you want to get a hold of me, How to Protect the Ocean, on Instagram. So just let me know if you have any specific questions. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and